Hello, I'm Tom Harmer, your town manager. Thank you for joining me today for this edition of Talk of the Town. I'm here today at Station 91, our northern fire station, to talk about some exciting news. We recently took delivery of a brand new fire truck, and I want to share some information about that truck today with the team. So join me as I talk with Chief Krajic with the fire department, and he's a chief with the department who's been very involved in the designing and delivery of this fire unit. Thank you, Chief, for joining me today.
Good morning.
So can you start off and for the public, explain a little bit about this truck? What is it? What does it do?
Okay, this is a 2020 Sutphen SL75 aerial. It's what we call a quint because it has 5 different features. It has an aerial ladder, it carries ground ladders, it carries hose, it carries water, and a pump. And a pump. Thank you. And so it's an all hazards truck. It's able to respond to anything that'll come up in the town as far as an emergency.
So as you heard, this is really a multi-purpose vehicle. When you look at it, you think about it as being an aerial truck because you see the big ladder on top, but it does much more than that. So Chief, how is this used in the department? What type of calls does it respond to?
This truck will respond to all calls within the town. It carries a full complement of advanced life support medical equipment, as all of our employees are paramedics. So we're able to provide advanced medical care with any of our vehicles. And these compartments on the sides is where we keep the ALS equipment. It responds to fires, it responds to fire alarms, elevator rescues, anything that comes up, this truck will go on.
Yeah, I think it's an important point. We have 2 fire stations in the town, and all of our firefighters are paramedics, and so they're able to respond to fire calls and medical calls with any of the vehicles, and all of our vehicles are fully equipped for both type of calls. We also have rescue units that transport patients, but these vehicles can respond to a fire or medical call, and the staff is prepared and has the appropriate equipment. Now this truck has the extra features. As you heard, it's called a quint. It has 5 different components. The ladder is a big feature on here. So Chief, how tall is that ladder?
The ladder is a 75-foot ladder. It can reach up to about the top of a fifth-story roof or a 5th-story building.
So that's very important here on the island because of the condo buildings that we have.
Yes.
That are multi-story.
Yes, we call those mid-rises. It can reach to the tops of those, and any of the larger homes that we have, we can get up to the top floors on those also.
So that can be for rescue, but also for firefighting.
Correct.
There's actually a nozzle that can spray water at the top of the ladder as well.
That's correct. Actually, the nozzle is configured 2 different ways. We can use that to put it on the tip of the ladder for firefighting, or we can drop that down to the 3rd section so we can use the ladder for rescue capabilities.
Yeah. Now, we obviously have some buildings that are taller than, say, 50 feet or 75 feet. What do we do in those cases where we might need a higher stream or rescue?
Well, part of our first response through our automatic aid partners is a 100-foot ladder truck from Sarasota County, and we have the ability to get 2 more of those trucks from the county if we do need them.
All right, very good. So this is a big, important vehicle for the fire department, and I'm sure a lot of effort went in to try and pick the right vehicle. Can you explain the process?
We started this process about a year ago, and we put a committee together. There was 5 or 6 of us on the committee, and we evaluated 4 manufacturers as we went through the process. Our goal was really to buy what we felt the town needed in a vehicle, with safety being the primary function or the primary goal of that committee. And then we evaluated all the different manufacturers. We had site visits. We had them come here, and this is the truck we chose because it had the most bang for the buck.
So from a capability standpoint, is it similar to the truck that it's replacing?
Somewhat similar. It's obviously quite a bit newer, so there's a lot better technology with this truck. But the other truck was a 75-foot aerial. This is a 75-foot aerial. Pump size is the same, 1,500 gallon per minute pump. Tank size, 500 gallons is the same. But this is just laid out a little bit better. It's lower, it's shorter wheelbase, so it's much more versatile to get around through the town.
Okay, very good, thank you. And so fire trucks have changed a lot over time. In the old days, firefighters used to ride on the back of the truck or outside of the vehicle. The driver and maybe the officer would be inside, but now they call this a fully enclosed cab. So
yes,
the firefighters are protected when they respond to a call.
That's correct. Yes, this truck is capable of carrying 4 firefighters, seated and seat belted in.
And this vehicle is not in service yet, but it will be soon. And where will it be stationed?
When it goes into service, which we're hoping is in the next week or so, it will be eventually it will be down to Station 92. Once that station is completed. Initially, we're going to keep it up here because we can keep it inside.
Okay, and for the public standpoint, Station 92 is the south station that's currently under construction. So they'll have an opportunity for the brand new station and the new truck that will be there. Let's take just kind of a quick walk around, and you can highlight some of the features of the truck as we go around.
Okay. Okay. You want to open compartments?
Yep, sure, as you think helpful.
Okay. Just as an example, rather than an onboard generator, which wasn't really what we needed anymore, we have a portable generator. We actually have 2 portable generators, and we have a smaller ladder inside here. This is your pump housing, and these are just some compartments. This is where our high-rise gear will go, up in this compartment here. Once we get that put together, we have a hydraulic ladder rack, which actually drops these ladders down so that we don't have to reach up and grab heavy items above our heads.
So that's a safety feature of the vehicle.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we really worked on for safety. And in the back here, just as an example, again, there's not everything on these trucks, but all of our trays are pull-out trays. So we don't have to reach into compartments to get things and pull them out. Another thing we felt was very important was in the back here, you can see how low this hose bed actually sits. In the other trucks, you'd have to reach up here to pull the hose down, and here it's nice and low for you.
So one of the features he mentioned earlier, the 5 components of this type of vehicle, was the hose.
Yes.
And so that allows them to connect to a hydrant to establish a water flow to the truck and then ultimately to the fire.
Correct. That's 1,000 feet of 5-inch hose right there. Again, in the back here, roll-out trays with our electric extrication tools. We got these through a grant.
Yeah, those are called the jaws of life. So when you're having to do an extrication of someone out of maybe a vehicle or someone that's trapped in some other fashion, these hydraulic tools can help make the difference.
Yes, they do.
And here, Chief, you see the nozzle that we were talking about earlier on the top of the ladder.
Yes, this nozzle flows 1,000 gallons a minute from the ladder, the tip of the ladder.
And that's why you would need the hose connected to the hydrant for that flow.
Correct. Again, just compartments over here, various components. One of the other nice little things we did is we have toolboards here that slide out so we can carry extra tools without having just laying around. They're easy to get at. Rescue saws up in here. This one comes out and comes down so that, again, we're not reaching up. The saws are right there. We can take those out. And this compartment here is just all the extra appliances for the engineer who's running the truck. And this is the pump panel.
And so you can see here, this is where the hose will come into from the fire hydrant. And then these are the discharge areas with the hose where they can then use it to fight the fire. So if they had a smaller fire and didn't need to use the ladder, they have hose here that they can use to attack the fire, and they can use the water in the tank. How much water did you say?
500 gallons.
So it comes with water, so it can do an initial attack, and then it has the hose to hook up to the hydrant to have a more sustained attack on a fire. And they have the ability to use the hoses here, or they could use the ladder nozzle if it's a larger fire.
This truck also has what's called a Class A foam system, which means there's a proportioner in there that mixes foam in with the water for firefighting. And what that does is it breaks down the surface tension of the fuel, so it allows the water to soak into the fuel, which means we can actually use a little bit less water when we're fighting the fires.
And the Class A foam works well on wood. It's designed to soak into the wood so that it helps put the fire out. And so you can see then the area where the firefighters will sit in the back, the enclosed area. Their breathing apparatus is up there, and they can ride safely in the vehicle on the way to the call. And then you'll have the driver and then the officer up front that would be able to sit up front in the front cab. So is there anything we missed? Is there anything about this truck you'd like to highlight for the public?
I think this is a really nice fire truck for the town. I think it's going to give them a lot of years of good service. And we put a lot of effort into this truck so that when it comes time to purchase another one, I'm hopeful that they can use the template that we used on this truck to make that next process a whole lot easier.
Because I know you've been involved in a number of vehicles for the town, fire vehicles,
yes,
as you've gone through the design and delivery phase.
Yes, and that's really the goal, is to build something, try to get it right the first time, but to build something that is what we need here in the town and provides for the highest level of safety for our staff, and that as we move forward is something we can use this as a like I said, a boilerplate. So we can say, we like that truck, let's tweak this, tweak that, and move forward from there.
Well, good. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today and thank the public. I'd also like to thank our town commission for supporting public safety on the island. They know how important it is and are willing to invest in vehicles and infrastructure like this and the new fire station and the renovation of our North Station. So I hope you found this interesting, and thank you for joining me today.